Hey, what's up guys? Adam here, and in this video we are going to be talking all about pensions. Now I get it, talking about pensions, especially at my age, is probably not the most attractive thing, as we tend to see it as something that is way down in the future. However, like with anything else, planning for your future ahead of time is definitely in your best interest. Whether you're in your 20s, your 30s, or you're still of teenage age, it is important to get an understanding of how pensions work, because this is going to be something else that is definitely not going to be taught in schools. So on this channel, we talk a lot about investing, personal finance, building up a passive income that will set us on a good journey to financial freedom and independence. And a pension is very much a part of that formula. It's best to see as another income stream that you can use later down the line. And it is true that it is going to be later down the line, because you can only draw down from a pension when you reach retirement age. And currently in the UK, that is age 55. So you're probably thinking, well, Adam, it's all well and good you say make contributions to your pension, but how does your money actually grow whilst it's in a pension, especially with inflation? Well, your money is not just in a savings pot. It's actually being invested in a wide range of different securities, stocks, bonds, REITs, and much more. Now, there are people out there who are genuinely scared of the term or even the process of investing. Like I kind of hinted in my trading versus investing video, people automatically assume they're going to lose money, or they see it in the realm of day trading. But little do they know, they are technically already investing if they do already have a pension. But somehow they feel more at ease because their pension tends to be out of view, and they're not treating it like how you would say a stocks and shares ISA on, say, free trade or trading 212, where we can constantly see the peaks and troughs on a daily basis. So I think that kind of works more from a psychological point of view, where they feel like they're not investing because they can't actually see their money working for them in a way. Now, there are two forms of pensions here in the UK. Firstly, we have what's known as the state pension, and this is going to be issued at the age of 66, at least at the time of filming this video. That could very well change, but there are a few other criteria that you need to meet in order to actually get your full benefit from the state pension, and I'm going to cover that later on in this video. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, and I've kind of hinted this already in previous videos. You don't want to rely on just the state pension as your only form of income, because you're only able to ever receive around about £700 per month, which is not a lot of money at all for someone to live on, especially if you've got all of your expenses, especially if you're someone who's still paying your mortgage. You do not want to be relying on that state pension. Now, also, there's going to be also two further concerns with the state pension as well. Now, in all honesty, it might not even be around at the time of, like, when I hit 70, for example. I'm 25 right now. By the time that I get to retirement age for the state pension, it may very well not even exist. And even if it does exist, there's a high chance that that age may skyrocket from 66 all the way to somewhere in the mid 70s. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't want to be working up until the age of 70 or even my mid 70s. In fact, you're probably watching this video, you're probably looking to retire at probably half that age. So, you know, it, all jokes aside, you definitely don't want to just rely on the state pension. You want to make sure you've got other streams of income coming in, because the state pension is not going to be enough to live off of. Now, I'm not saying that to frighten you, but the government themselves actually kind of hint towards that. And that is why they tend to reward people or encourage people to save for their future, either by investing or having a stocks and shares ISA, or simply taking out a private or works pension. So that brings me on nicely then to workplace pensions. Now, if you're an employee of a large company or organization, then 9 times out of 10, that particular establishment will offer a workplace pension. Now, the way this works is they will take a small percentage, usually around about 8 to 10% from your gross pay. So this is going to be pre-tax deductions from your gross pay, and that will go directly into your pension pot. So let's say, for example, you wanted to contribute £200. If you technically wanted to contribute £200 to a stocks and shares ISA, you would need to have paid tax on that £200 ahead of time. So that £200 technically becomes £160, let's say if you were a basic rate taxpayer. However, if you're going to make a contribution to a pension, it will be just the £200 initially, and you won't have to pay any tax on that, because all of the amount that you take from your pension comes out of your gross, which is going to be before you pay any of your taxes. Now, in addition to this, your employer may also make contributions towards your pension pot as well, also known as matching your contributions. And sometimes they may even surpass your contribution, which is going to be really beneficial for building your portfolio for your pension pot. Now, as I said before, it's always good to make large, consistent payments at the very start of building your portfolio. That way you can make the best benefit of compound interest rather than trying to make large payments later down the line. So getting that matching from your employer definitely helps you build your portfolio for a pension with very little effort. Now, by all means, having a workplace pension is not mandatory. You definitely have the right to opt out. However, I would highly recommend against that, especially if you don't already have a private pension set up. If this is going to be your only pension, then please make sure if you have an employer that offers a pension scheme, make sure you sign up to it, because once again, you do not want to be reliant on the state pension. Now, a pension is definitely intended to be a long-term product. Usually we're looking to hold a pension for 10, 20, 30 plus years up until we reach the works retirement age of 55, from when we can draw down from. Now, just like a stocks and shares ISA, a pension is definitely going to be propelled by what's known as I said before, compound interest. That's really what causes the portfolio to skyrocket. And as Albert Einstein said, compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. It is really that powerful. Now, when it comes to pensions, there is a combined limit of £40,000 per tax year, which is quite a significant amount for most people, but that is going to be across all of your pensions combined. Now, if you do exceed that limit, let's say you exceed it by £5,000, then you will have to actually pay tax on that £5,000. Now, if you have an incredibly high income or you're making very large contributions towards your pension pot, then you may want to consider also having a stocks and shares ISA in addition to your pension. Now, if you watched my ISAs video, I'll leave it linked in the info card above, then you know that the combined ISA limit is £20,000 per person per tax year. So it'd be great to have that in addition to your pension pot. Now, that would technically give you £60,000 worth of tax-free investing. Now, circling back then to workplace pensions, there is a drawback when it comes to control. Now, for those of you that aren't really interested in taking full control and ownership over your pension, or you're not really too concerned about what it's invested into, this may not affect you too much. But for those of us that really want to take control of our wealth building mechanisms, this may come across as highly restrictive. Now, in order to keep the costs low, most companies will simply go to one pension provider that also keeps their costs low as well, because they're signing up several people from the same company, and they tend to only give you a very small or limited choice of funds when it comes to your pension portfolio, or they will give you a small list of risk options such as low, medium and high risk, without actually telling you what you're actually investing into. So that does make it quite difficult to gauge the risk of your portfolio, because high risk to them could be incredibly low risk to you. So that does make it quite difficult having a workplace pension that doesn't really give you the full control of what your pension is invested into. Now, alternatively, you may be someone who works for themselves, you may be a sole trader, you may run your own business, and therefore you're not really going to have a workplace pension. Therefore, I'd highly recommend that you set up a private pension or set up a SIP. Now, I'm not going to go into too much detail about what a SIP actually is, because I'm going to make a designated video talking all about SIPs and how they work. So be sure to subscribe and stay tuned for that video. But for now, just know that it's going to be another form of private pension. Now, if you're somebody who does work for themselves, then it may actually be better off for you to make these larger contributions towards your pension portfolio, because if you do that, it actually offsets against your overall income. Therefore, your perceived income will be a lot smaller, and therefore you can end up paying a lot less tax on your overall income or the amount of profit that you've made. Now, of course, while this is legal, it is definitely going to be quite technical in some cases, depending on how your accounts and how your tax is going to be set up. So please make sure that if you do that, you actually seek a qualified professional accountant, or you do seek further legal advice. Now, in addition to this, you'll also be entitled to tax relief, and this will depend on where you fall within the tax bracket. So if you're a basic rate taxpayer, higher rate taxpayer, or an additional rate taxpayer. So let's say, for example, you are a basic rate taxpayer and you're contributing £80 towards your pension pot. That would actually be equivalent to contributing £100 because, as I said before, we're not having to pay that tax rate of 20%. The same would also apply to a higher rate taxpayer paying or contributing £60. That again will have the same weight as £100 because you're not having to pay that 40% tax rate. So there's definitely going to be government incentive there to contribute towards a private pension or a workplace pension. Now, at the start of the video, we briefly touched upon the state pension. Now, in order to get your full entitled benefit of your state pension, then you need to make sure that you're actually paying your national insurance, and not just paying it, you need to make sure in order to get the full benefit that you've actually contributed 30 years worth of payments towards your national insurance. Now, even if you are not working claiming some type of benefit, you'll still need to make these contributions towards your national insurance to make up that 30-year target. Now, if you don't reach the 30-year target, then you actually won't be rewarded the full amount of benefit that you can claim, and the further away you are from that target, the lower the amount that you can actually claim. Therefore, as I said before, it's really important that you simply don't just rely on the state pension, especially if you're someone who knows they're not going to reach the 30-year target. Okay, so we've talked about the ins and outs of pensions, but how can we actually claim our money from a pension once we've reached the working retirement age of 55? Well, first and foremost, you are entitled to take a 25% lump sum, and usually people take that lump sum and either pay down part of their mortgage, or they just, treat themselves or put it towards an investment property. What you do with that lump sum is down to you, but the rest of the pension will still remain tied up within the pension pot, and you can still take it, draw it down as monthly income, and it will still receive the compound interest in the background as you get older. Another approach then is to purchase an annuity. This is where you can actually use your entire pension pot to purchase a fixed income. Let's say, for example, you wanted to have a fixed income of £30,000. You're simply trading your pension pot essentially for that, and you'll receive a fixed income of the £30,000. And even after you die, that £30,000 will be passed on to a living spouse. So the final approach then would be to use the 4% drawdown rule. And this is kind of the idea that if you draw down 4% year on year, you'll never actually end up eating into your principal, but just the interest from the principal as well. And your actual principal will still continue to grow in the background with compound interest. So just some key takeaways then from this video. If you do work for a company that offers a workplace pension, please take it and maximize it to the best of your ability. As I said before, you don't just simply want to rely on the state pension because it may not exist in the same way that it does today. Now, pensions are not an end all or be all. It's there to be part or to form part of your overall income. Of course, you already want to make sure that you have additional streams of income as well, and then just treat the pension, whether it be the state pension, a private pension, or a SIP, just treat it as another form of income, but just make sure that it's not going to be your only form of income. So guys, that pretty much wraps up this video. If you enjoyed it, you know what to do. Give me a big like down below. If you want to see more videos like this where we talk about personal finance, investing, or documenting my journey to financial freedom, be sure to hit the subscribe button down below and hit the notification bell so you get the alert when we upload new videos to this channel. Anyway guys, it's been Adam here. Thank you for watching. Take care, and of course, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye for now.